So obviously today, Robert Mueller does his testimony. Was it a good idea? Well, Anna and John discussed that earlier. I have my own thoughts, which I'll share with you in a second. But Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler, and Schiff go and do a press conference afterwards. Now Pelosi's the one that did not want to pursue impeachment. Has Mueller's testimony changed her mind? Because remember, she's like, no, we can't do anything. We can't do anything because we got to wait for Mueller. And so finally, after waiting for Godot/Mueller for all this time, he has arrived. And what does she think about impeachment now? Let's watch.
What you saw today, did it change whether or not you think the House of Representatives should launch impeachment proceedings?
My position has always been whatever decision we made in that regard would have to be done with our strongest possible hand, and we still have some outstanding matters in the courts. It's about the Congress, the Constitution, and the courts.
Some of your members told us over the course of today that they were expecting imminent action of some kind from House leadership. What are the very next
I don't know why they thought that. But they came to me and I said, I don't know why. It's about what information is there. And this isn't endless. This isn't endless. The American people, I think that if we go down that path, we should go in the strongest possible way. And that's all I'm going to say about the subject.
Okay, there's no end to it. I mean, she says it's not endless, but it sounds endless to me. So we did one more hearing, one more judicial court proceeding, one more investigation. I don't know if you know this, the election's about 15 months from now.
She said nothing there.
Okay.
Yeah, she said
that was
nothing.
frustrating. I think that there's a way, especially now that so many people who aren't children of politicians and politicians themselves are interested in what's going on in their country. That nothing could have just been said like that. I think that we got to at least start speaking to people clearer. I was like trying to translate. What is it? Oh, nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wish that is just what bothers me just in general. Just speak to people.
You're 100% right. You too, Anna. Like basically what they came out to say is we're not going to impeach. That was the essence of this press conference.
It's so pathetic.
But we are going to have strongly worded comments against Donald Trump. Ooh.
That's worked out real well for Democrats so far, right?
Yeah. So I think that the so-called master legislator is a serial bungler. And this was yet another case that she bungled. So she thought, oh my God, we'll bring out Mueller. But think about the dynamics of that. As they discussed earlier in the show, look, my thoughts on it are this. You know Mueller could not answer any of the Democrats' questions because he was gonna say, I'm gonna refer you to the report. So, okay, fine, you want to have a bunch of Democratic congressmen say the report and hope that people watch, okay. But then the Republicans are gonna yell at him and he can't answer. So when he doesn't answer because he says, I can't get into the investigation, I refer you to the report, then it seems one-sided. Like, wait, it's almost like he's taking the Fifth Amendment, right? Like the Republicans are like, isn't it true that it was a conspiracy hatched by your mother and lizards? And he's like, I can't comment. They're like, and every Republican in the country goes, aha, it was, right? And so this is an ill-conceived strategy in the first place by Nancy Pelosi. And then it led to what most people think was a bad result today. Yes, clearly Mueller said that he is not exonerated and he could be indicted after he leaves office. But does anyone think that anybody's gonna pursue Donald Trump after he leaves office?
No.
Right, are any Democrats gonna pursue him? Are any prosecutors gonna pursue him? Of course not, she bungled it again. So then they asked her one more time about, hey, what is your standard for impeachment? And are you still waiting on on flipping the Senate ahead of time? You know, that you're gonna get the Republicans to agree ahead of time to impeach the president or to convict the president if you impeach him. So let's see your answer to that.
Speaker Pelosi, but you have long said that there's no point in moving forward with an impeachment inquiry because Republicans control the Senate. It's gonna die in the Senate. Is that no longer your chief concern?
I've never long said that. I have never long said that. If we have a case for impeachment, that's the place we will have to go. The fact that why I'd like it to be a strong case is because it's based on the facts and the law. That's what matters, not politics, not partisanship, just patriotism. I don't care. I mean, I'd like the Senate to be responsible and honor their oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution, to see the challenge this is to our national security, that the Russians trying to do to our country. But the stronger our case is, the worse the Senate will look for just letting the president off the hook.
So I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please correct me. But it's my understanding that she lied there. because it has been her opinion that it's a bad political strategy. Like, her concern isn't about doing the right principled thing or protecting the Constitution. Every decision that she's made in regard to impeachment has been about how is this going to affect the Democratic Party politically. And her political calculation, and in my opinion, is the wrong calculation, is that this is not a good move. It's gonna look bad on Democrats because he will be exonerated by the Senate. And then he will be able to say, Trump will, look, I'm being targeted by the Democrats. I've been exonerated. They've wasted all this time with this investigation. But guess what? That's what's happening now. That's what's happening today, right? I think that it's a terrible miscalculation by Nancy Pelosi. She's completely lying. And the fact that look, the Senate doesn't care about the Constitution either, right? So sure, you can go ahead and point fingers at them, but let's keep it real. You also don't care about protecting the Constitution. Doing what you think is best for the Democratic Party is more important than actually doing the right thing and the principled thing when it comes to protecting the Constitution.
And of course, her political calculation on that is wrong, as always. So in terms of the reasons she has stated for not pursuing impeachment yet, which is now starting to be funny as time runs out, like as if she's gonna do it at some point, is the Senate wouldn't convict anyway. She definitely said that, 100% said that. It's an alternative fact on her part to say she didn't say it. She even went as far as making up this idea that if the Senate does not convict him, that would prove that he was innocent and he could not be pursued criminally. That's not remotely true, and every legal expert said that's not true. So she even further elaborated on why she didn't want to pursue him based on the Senate not being on their side yet. Right. So she just didn't tell the truth there. She has given other reasons, including Donald Trump helps me with fundraising. She said that as well, okay? And then she talked about, of course, the main thing over and over again is the one Anna mentioned, which is how does it affect the Democratic Party? And that is not how you're supposed to act as a responsible Speaker of the House. Today, she again talked about, quote, it is a crossing of a threshold in terms of public awareness of what happened.
No, it's not.
First of all, that's not true. But second of all, even if it were true, how is that relevant to whether he broke the law or not?
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, how is that relevant to the influence that it'll have on the Senate, right? So like, she's trying to make it seem like, no, these hearings are great. It's important because it's gonna inform people and we'll have more support if we do decide to impeach. At least that was implied in that video. But I mean, based on your calculation, there's no way the Senate is gonna do the right thing in convicting Trump through this impeachment process. You saw the way that they handled this entire hearing. What makes you think that they're gonna do the right thing? Like, they don't fight. Like, she doesn't fight. So my point is, you should do the right thing and you should hold the Republicans' feet to the fire by constantly talking about the various cases of obstruction of justice or the various examples of obstruction of justice that Mueller laid out in the report. There's specific examples. I mean, Ted Lieu today laid it out for you. Why aren't you doing press conferences on a daily basis and going on cable news on a daily basis to talk about what a criminal Trump is? Put the Republicans' feet to the fire. That would have way more of an impact than this nonsense hearing that actually made Democrats look worse.
I thought what was fascinating there is that she kind of gave a speech about her frustrations with the Senate and that it was almost word for word what voters say about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's such a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. And so bottom line is she has again helped Donald Trump in drawing out these proceedings and running out the clock on his behalf. And so here we are, this was supposed to be the big ta-da moment. And I guess they didn't know how the optics of it would play. And it was, I mean, no one can disagree that it was at a bare minimum, a political miscalculation. Right, does anyone think, I know the media loves to defend her. Is anybody gonna go out and go, you know what, Pelosi nailed it again, what a master legislator, brought out Mueller there, and now their case is gonna be rock solid. They can either do impeachment and they're gonna win the elections. Does anybody think that? No, everybody in the press is saying that it didn't go well, right? So are you gonna still call her a master legislator? She bungled it, and there's no question about it. And so she now comes out and goes, I'm not really gonna impeach, but I'm gonna yell at him one more time. That'll show him. But I wanna say one last thing, guys, about the overall proceedings. Now Trump's doing a victory lap, right? And he goes around, he said, we had a very good day today. He said it was a devastating day for the Democrats, one of the worst performances in the history of the country. And media, can I also get you to stop analyzing Robert Mueller's findings based on how he sounded today? Like, he sounded very frail. And that relates to obstruction of justice how, right? It doesn't relate to the facts at all. Did Donald Trump commit a crime? Well, Mueller didn't sound good today. How are those two things related? So I get the optics of it in terms of politics, but the reality of it still is the same thing. Donald Trump did commit that crime. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.